In the fall of every odd year, tuition rates at the University of Texas at Austin are reevaluated and determined for the next biennial. But how is tuition set? While the process involves many complex moving parts, we thought we'd break it down to the basics so you can know how tuition is set. The process begins with college-level feedback in each of the university's colleges and schools. College-level feedback is made up of two components: College Tuition Budget Advisory Committees, or CTBACs, and the individual college or school deans. Formed in 2010 by the Senate of College Councils, CTBACs work as student budget advisory committees for each college and school at UT Austin, and advise administrators on budgetary decisions within their particular college or school. Consisting of students and sometimes faculty members, each college and school has a CTBAC which solicits student feedback in a variety of ways, from forums and surveys all the way down to individual conversations. Joining CTBACs to provide college-level feedback are the deans of the individual colleges and schools. In addition to soliciting feedback from students and faculty, the deans receive feedback from their respective CTBACs before submitting their college or school tuition recommendations in October to Provost Stephen Leslie and the university's Tuition Policy Advisory Committee, also known as TPAC. While some CTBACs submit separate recommendations to their deans, the provost and TPAC, other CTBACs work with their individual dean and provide student input and recommendations through their dean's proposal to the provost and TPAC. Once the proposals and recommendations have been submitted, the tuition setting process then lies in the hands of TPAC. Created in 2003 after tuition was deregulated by the Texas legislature and university systems were given the authority to set their own tuition rates, the purpose of the Tuition Policy Advisory Committee is to recommend to the president of the university the amount of tuition needed to fund the university's forecasted core academic budget, utilities, and college programs. Composed of 9 voting members and 3 non-voting advisory members, TPAC is co-chaired by the university's provost and chief financial officer. In addition to the provost and CFO, TPAC's voting members include 1 rotating dean and 1 rotating faculty member, the dean of graduate studies, and 4 student members, including the presidents of the Senate of College Councils, student government, and the Graduate Student Assembly. In addition to reviewing the dean and CTBAC proposals and recommendations, as well as examining the university's budget and academic and financial needs, TPAC holds several open forums so students, parents, faculty, and other members of the UT Austin community can ask questions and share their thoughts and input about tuition rates before TPAC makes its recommendations at the end of November to President William Powers for undergraduate and graduate tuition rates for the next 2 years. After submitting the recommendation in writing to the President, TPAC and the President will then publicly publish the recommendation and hold an open forum on Wednesday, November 30th at 4 p.m. in the Aces Avea Auditorium. The open forum will be the last chance for members of the UT Austin community to comment on the recommendations. Following the open forum, President Powers will meet with TPAC to discuss the feedback received during the open forum before he submits the university's final tuition proposal to the University of Texas System Board of Regents by Thursday, December 15th. Although the President takes TPAC's recommendation and public feedback into consideration, he retains the discretion to make changes to TPAC's proposal when submitting the university's final tuition proposal to the Board of Regents for its approval. The TPAC proposal is also submitted to the Board of Regents as well. Once the university's final tuition proposal has been submitted, the final tuition decision lies in the hands of the Board of Regents, who will decide the final tuition rate for the next biennial. The Board of Regents' decision is expected to be made by the end of March and announced publicly. And that is the tuition setting process. From college level feedback to the Board of Regents' decision, the process is a simple yet complex sequence of many moving parts and various levels of input.